There are actually 4 forms of water, not 3. And the first one is solid, liquid, gas, and then there is one in between solid and liquid, which is otherwise known as easy water, which is basically structured water. And if you want to reduce the stress on your heart, well, what exactly can you do to increase the amount of easy water? Coffee, tea, juice, and soda are actually all dehydrating. But for coffee and tea, it has to do with the fact that they have a specific phytotoxin, which will actually steal water from you. Yes, it quite literally steals water. And not only that, it also steals your protein, or in this case, your amino acids. Now, what do you think about coffee, tea, juice, and soda? You might think that all of those are healthy, but I'm here to prove to you that those aren't actually healthy at all, not even a little bit of them. And it has to do with not just phytotoxin content, but also dehydration. And in order to understand why exactly these things are unhealthy, we're gonna have to look a little bit more into the science behind it and what exactly is going on. Now, to do this, we're gonna have to understand the importance of water. More specifically, we're gonna have to understand that water isn't actually what you might think it is. There are actually 4 forms of water, not 3. And the first one is solid, liquid, gas, and then there is one in between solid and liquid, which is otherwise known as easy water, which is basically structured water. Easy water has a hexagonal sort of shape, and the reason it does is because it's actually a little bit similar to ice, because ice has the same thing. Now you might say, what exactly does this have to do with coffee, tea, juice, or soda in the first place? Well, it's the fact that all of those are dehydrating, which we will go into a little bit more detail in a bit, but more specifically, we're gonna have to understand the importance of water to see why these things are actually very unhealthy and you probably shouldn't be drinking them. Now, water has many important functions in the human body. It can be metabolic, enzyme, it could be DNA stability, it could be protein folding and aggregation. There are plenty and plenty of them. Now, the first one we're gonna be covering is metabolic function. Now, water is essential to proper metabolic function, and this has to do with the fact that it is a medium to pretty much every single biochemical reaction that occurs in the human body and is essential for it to actually happen in the first place. Not only that, it is very important when it comes to being able to distribute heat throughout the human body, which is, again, another very, very crucial thing. The second thing is enzyme function. Now, when it comes to enzyme function, it is actually very, very important, once again, that water is involved in this. And that is because enzymes, or a lot of the things, are encased within a hydration shell. And that is absolutely essential in order for them to do their job. And not only that, there is a lot of hydrogen bonding going on and a lot of very, very small interactions occurring. And when those small interactions don't exist, then problems might end up happening. And for instance, if you feel a little bit tired, well, yeah, maybe drinking more water could help. The third one is DNA stability. Now, DNA stability is absolutely crucial to maintaining whether or not your genetic code of the body, basically the thing that makes you, actually still is working correctly. And if it isn't, then you might have guessed some problems could happen, like cancer. Now, yes, that means that drinking less water would only increase and exacerbate this problem. So once again, that is another reason why water is so essential. The fourth thing is cell membrane integrity. Now, in order for your cell to not shrivel up completely, then you need to actually drink enough water. But this is where if you drink too much water or you overdose on water somehow, then your cells can quite literally pop. So it is both a double-edged sword as long as you aren't completely downing tons and tons of water all the time. And you'll know whether or not you feel thirsty or not. And if you feel thirsty, then yeah, drink some water, definitely. The fifth thing that is essential to is immune system function. And without water and not getting enough water, you will actually hinder your immune system. And that means that you, if you are sick especially, will become even sicker and you might not even recover as well. And this has to do with the fact that you don't have enough water and that you need water. The final thing is organ and cell function. And this can include things like whether or not your brain is actually working in the first place because of the nerve impulses, or it can even be cerebrospinal fluid, or it can even be maintaining blood pressure. There are so many crucial things that water plays in your body when it comes to just organ function. And if you want to reduce that organ function, then make sure that you get dehydrated, but you probably don't want to do that. Coffee, tea, juice, and soda are actually all dehydrating for multiple reasons. Not just the sugar content found in juices and soda, but for coffee and tea, it has to do with the fact that they have a specific phytotoxin, which will actually steal water from you. Yes, it quite literally steals water. And not only that, it also steals your protein, or in this case, your amino acids. Now, first, we will cover juices and soda and why you don't want them, especially if you're trying to hydrate yourself. Now, the reason is because juices and soda have sugar in them, and the sugar counteracts completely the hydrating effect of basically what you're supposed to get, which is the water. And this is a big deal because if you're actually trying to hydrate yourself, this is not how you do it, and this is not effective. In fact, it makes it worse. Now, what about coffee and tea though? I mean, those aren't too bad, right? Well, let's look at the example of the elephant. Now, the elephant actually will graze on trees which have tannins in them. However, the trees will be able to communicate to one another, and they will increase the tannin phytotoxin content.
So what happens is, elephant comes along, starts browsing on a mapani tree releases pheromone to say to the other trees around it, whoa, we're under attack, release tannin. Tannin goes into the leaves, and then all the trees downwind of there release the tannin and become unpalatable to the elephant. So, what does the elephant do? Well, the elephant comes in from a downwind position and starts browsing upwind because the trees can't communicate with each other upwind.
And when they do, the elephants will know that they have to leave because they know that they cannot continue to graze on these trees. And when they do, they will have serious problems, because why exactly is that? Well, we know that tannins, once again, will bind to water. Basically, they will form hydrogen bonds with water, meaning they will steal your water, as well as doing the exact same thing with amino acids, meaning they steal your protein as well. And you don't want that. Now, why else exactly is water so important? And what about that easy water that you mentioned before? Well, this is exactly where we come to easy water, because easy water is very interesting, and it is something that is very important and crucial to understanding capillary flow, which is basically preventing less stress on your heart, to keep it really mildly. Now, when you put a hollow tube underwater, there will actually be an increase basically of the water moving through the tube. Now, why exactly is that? And where is this force coming from? This has to do with easy water, and easy water is basically what allows for that capillary flow to happen, which means that it is making the blood move faster throughout the capillaries, and that's very important, especially when it comes to whether or not you are or are not having heart problems. Now, if you're having heart problems, then this is definitely even more important for you. And if you want to reduce the stress on your heart, well, what exactly can you do to increase the amount of easy water? Well, the first thing that you can do is actually to increase the amount of sun exposure, yes, and IR radiation. Now, this is because we know that when you increase the amount of sun shined on the easy water, for instance, maybe even the hollow tube, let's say, we expose it to a certain kind of radiation, more so light, then we see that it actually speeds up, or it increases the amount of easy water, and it increases that layer. And that's really important if you want to increase the capillary flow. So in order to increase the capillary flow, as well as get some vitamin D, go out in the sun. So some of the key takeaways for this video are: 1, all of the functions and very crucial things that water is used for in your body and that you need water for. 2, the dangers and what happens when you dehydrate yourself, because when you dehydrate yourself, you reduce the function of every single one of those essential functions. 3, the reason why juices, coffee, tea, soda, and all of those are really bad has to do with phytotoxin content and the fact that they are filled with sugar. And 4, the final key takeaway is that in order to increase easy water, which helps stimulate capillary flow and reduces the stress on your heart, it is very important to go out into the sun. So once again, thanks for watching. If you found the video helpful and really informative, then please like, subscribe, comment, and share the video, because it really does help the channel grow. And if you want to see my videos come out ahead of time, then please click the join button down below, where you can not only just support me personally, but also see all of my videos come out ahead of time. So once again, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Pew.